Welcome to Rick Dancer TV's Elders, Sages, and Fellow Travelers show. Em's here, I'm here, and we're at Grant's Hearing Center because Em's going to have a hearing test. Em, are you listening to me?
Wait, what?
We're going to have a hearing test for you because you work in rock radio, and Grant's one of our sponsors, so we're going to have him here. We're going to fiddle around a little tonight.
I like that.
So, old-time fiddler. And looking back, we're going to go look at the Wayne Morse Free Speech Plaza back in the early days when they were planning for it.
How early?
Family, 1995.
Tell me more about the 90s, Rick.
Back in 95. We're going to check Em's hearing.
Again, what?
Let's go. I'm not dead. That sounds like something interesting. So what is it?
It looks like some sort of polykaleidoscope. That's what I call it.
That's how I imagine your brain working inside. You know, it kind of reminds me of the ellipsis machine at the gym.
Yeah.
Ellipsis machines.
Nailed it.
Do you ever exercise?
What are you trying to say, Rick?
I mean that in a nice way. But Waterford Grant is going to do a series with us talking about balance. That's something you probably could use as well.
Physical or mental?
Yeah, there's a little bit of both.
Oh, thank God.
Watch.
Okay.
This is Don Beidel, the Recreation and Wellness Director at the Waterford Grant. You guys have a beautiful gym here because exercise is part of our growing older years. And balance is one of the big problems that we have as we get older.
We lose at least 1% a year after our age of 50. So if you're having residents that are in their 80s and 90s, they could have lost 30 to 40% of their ability to balance.
So Don, show us a couple of exercises we can do that people can do at home that would really help.
So you're holding on to the counter. You bring one foot in front of the other, and you stand there, and you slowly remove your hand from the counter for up to 30 seconds. It's another way of letting the mind work with how we use the brain to coordinate our muscles with our actions.
Now what do you do next?
Well, if after you do this and hold it for a while and you get really good at it, close your eyes and try and do it.
Okay, now see,
See how much harder that is?
Yeah.
And that's just one side of the leg. So
that's
very
30
weird.
seconds,
and I have
pretty
right?
good balance.
It's really hard. Another one is facing forward and coming up off the heels of your feet.
Oh yeah.
You have to adjust your feet a little bit. You could do it barefooted if that helps. Those are little things that people can do anywhere they are. I in fact, stand in a bank and do that. This one is a favorite one of mine when I have the residents sit. I have them sit down, firmly sit up tall in their chair, and bring one foot out in front of them, and leave it off the floor and rotate the ankle. Another one is just getting up and off the chair. As we get older, it's much harder. So put your hands on your thighs, push yourself forward and come right up.
Don, thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel more balanced already.
All right, good.
This is Ron Sturry, Service Manager at Kiefer Mazda.
I want you to be comfortable with what I do for your car. It indicates that the battery is well above what it needs to do.
Ron likes to help people.
Because this is a relationship. Rick, did you know if you buy a car down the street or one with high miles on it, we'll do an inspection on it?
Well, a Mazda, yeah.
No, any car, Rick.
Really?
Really.
A brake check, tire wear, battery check. Check and refill your fluids. Check your wiper blades, your lights, your air filter, even a state-of-the-art alignment. And they'll rotate your tires. Really?
In fact, Rick, if the viewers mention that they saw this on Rick Dancer TV, I'll do it for free.
Why?
Because we do what works for you and you.
New Horizons in Home Care, we've been in business for actually 30 years, and we're the largest independent in-home care agency in the state. We serve medically fragile children all the way up to 100 plus. So it can be anything from, basic housekeeping all the way up to some type of medical need that person might have. All of our care managers that oversee the caregivers, CNAs, are nurses, and those nurses provide that oversight. We always have a nurse on call all weekend, all night. We are seeing the individuals that we serve as people who are active, who still have lots of life left. They're not someone that is thrown away.
Sort of like
M.
a mousetrap.
You're like having a kid we're at the hearing center, Grant's Hearing Center. You're not supposed to be playing with the artwork.
I thought it was mousetrap.
No, you need to leave that.
It's wall art.
Busted.
Hey,
It's
Grant.
fun wall art. Let's
So,
get this moving for
Rick
us.
was touching your wall art, and I was like, Rick, stop touching
Isn't
that.
that
It's
how it always
delicate.
is?
That's how it seemed like it was.
It also reminds me of a bass fiddle, and we did a story for this episode of the show on a guy who's with the old-time fiddlers. In fact, you guys go watch that while Emma gets ready for her hearing test.
I just hear.
Hearing test.
I just hear wah wah wah.
That's why we have you here at Grant's.
Perfect.
Wah, wah, wah.
Come on back.
This is you.
Yeah,
In
this
the
is
younger
our.
years.
Ken Luce will tell you music is in his DNA.
My dad played the piano, and he played the tuba. Recognize it?
Yeah, now I do.
I started piano lessons in first grade.
Now this is your uncle who started this whole genetic thing.
My uncle would play on weekends at the Crystal Ballroom or the Crystal Gardens up there. 4 out of the 5 kids have some musical built into their system, yeah.
In college, Ken found himself playing bass fiddle in bands and at parties, but playing music took a backseat to family for decades. Until just a few years ago, life again became all about the bass.
2003, I had this life-altering event. You can introduce the numbers and the key. Had a tumor in my throat. Maybe it's turned on. Hey, was diagnosed with a malignant cancer in my throat. This is Bernie Roberts. Bernie's our district treasurer. I made this deal. Next we have Cheryl Horner. If I can get through this, I'm going to play music again. We are happy to be at Bayberry Commons.
Ken and the instrument he plays are a lot alike.
It's the role of the bass player to provide that beat for them.
Both provide a foundation, a baseline. They fill a void.
So what you're doing is you're filling in the bottom line of what they're doing.
For Ken, the band is a lot like life. He understands he's not the leader of the band, but he has a role to play.
I don't sing, I don't remember words. All I do is I provide the bottom line for there, and it just fills it in.
As stages of life change, Ken will tell you finding that thing that makes you come alive is so important.
Oh yeah, there are sometimes, there are certain tunes.
Singing low, bye, bye, blackbird.
You'll get tears in your eyes playing it.
Sugar sweet, so sweet, bye, bye, blackbird.
Music has a way of stirring our soul.
It fills the hole in your soul to play music and to watch these people that live in these kind of facilities wake up when you play tunes that they heard 60 and 70 years ago.
It can remind us of who we are.
I'm moved by it. I don't know, kind of hard to explain, I guess.
And even in our elder years, if we listen carefully, music can provide a place for us to dream.
It doesn't make me feel necessarily important, but it makes me feel like I've made a contribution. And I keep thinking to myself, who would our friends be if we didn't have all of these old-time fiddlers?
Music can create relationships, friendships, connections. As we age, we see life as a series of stages, moments that ebb and flow. And if we embrace those changes, the possibilities can be endless.
I think you have something to live for that you can still do in your older years that you couldn't do when you were younger. Yeah, we're just having fun.
Spring has sprung and the River Road Park and Recreation District class schedule is in full bloom. How about this? Declutter and organize your home. Are you downsizing or just have too much stuff at the house? We can help. Classes are on the 12th and the 19th of April. And here's something, Tracing Memories. It's a program designed to promote relaxation and stress reduction using pictures and photographs as art. There's an open house on April the 12th at 1 o'clock, so you can check it out. River Road Park and Recreation District is big on taking trips, and we've got a wonderful trip planned for next year. But if you'd like to find out more about the Heart of the South, we have a presentation on May the 31st. For more information, just go to our website or call 541-688-4052. That's what's happening in the River Road Park and Recreation District.
So tell me what's wrong with your hearing.
Hi, Grant. Okay, so I work in radio, so I have to hear a lot of music.
I think we should inspect your ear to start with, and then we'll go ahead and do a hearing test. And this is the tympanic membrane. It looks very normal. The next step is we're going to have you come to the sound booth. So please come over. So I'm going to be presenting some tones to you.
Okay.
What I'd like to do is I'm going to give you this in just a moment. So when you hear the beep, I'd like you to push down on the button firmly. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to test the right ear first, and then we'll switch and do the left ear.
Okay.
It's a good thing to have people come in and at least get a baseline test and see if there is a problem. And then it sure is fun to be able to fit hearing aids to those that are having a problem. It gradually drops so many years. Gradually, we put the hearing aids on, turn them on, and then they can actually, it's just like the light switch comes on. And I'd like to start at 20 decibels. So we're moving into the higher tones. I love being able to help people hear better. Yeah, that's the big thing is too. Red is the right ear, blue is the left ear. This line right here at 20 indicates good hearing above the blue line. Family members notice that mom, dad's hearing a lot better. They're not having to repeat. I think they get invited to more functions, and it's just better all the way around. As far as your hearing goes, you still are hearing really well.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I needed this so badly.
Good.
This is fantastic.
Good. All right.
Thank you, Grant.
You're very welcome.
That's awesome.
My
You're
pleasure.
the best.
A bust of the late U.S. Senator Wayne Morse was unveiled today at the Lane County Courthouse. Fans of the independent-minded 24-year senator can purchase copies of the rendition.
The money will be used to add a speaker's platform and statue of Morse to Lane County's Free Speech Plaza at the court.
Tonight, a look at why Wayne Morse is so strongly linked to free speech.
What perfect weather. Haven't we had gorgeous weather these last few days? We've been talking about this and awaiting this moment for a long time, so it's really great to actually meet the artist.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
So you get to introduce the elected officials and say a few words, and then introduce Ed Fay.
Why don't we start the proceedings? It's my good fortune
we have
to
to
be
keep
here.
trying to say that free speech platforms are worth preserving and worth memorializing Wayne Morse because he did use free speech as it should be used, even when it wasn't popular with most people.
And until a war is declared, it is my position that it is unconstitutional to send American boys to their death in South Vietnam.
Sunday, August the 2nd, 1964, in a deliberate and unprovoked action, 3 North Vietnam PT boats unleash a torpedo attack against the Mannings.
Senator Morse believed it was unconstitutional to give to the president an open-end authority to take any action, as it said, as may be deemed necessary.
Being in the minority never proves that you're wrong. In fact, history is going to record that Sunding and I voted in the interest of the American people this morning when we voted against this resolution.
People look at that now and say, in the cool day of dawn, saying, how in the world could so many senators ever be persuaded to have the President of the United States that kind of unlimited power?
I think the Vietnam War brought him out in terms of what he felt the big crusade was of his life, and that was to show up the chicanery in the Gulf of Tonkin, and then to make that point time and again that you should follow the Constitution.
I want to see my country return to a system of government by law within the Constitution, including Article 1, Section 8, that calls for a declaration of war.
Honesty was really one of his big things. It really, honestly, if somebody, and he could spot it around the globe, you know.
I'm pleading that the American people be given the facts about foreign
Senator,
policy.
That the American people cannot formulate
Why
and
do you say
execute
that?
foreign policy.
Why, you're a man of little faith in democracy if you make that kind of announcement. I have complete faith in the ability of the American people to follow the facts if you'll give them.
He wasn't just preaching, he was instructing. He always said, I go where the facts lead me.
People the facts. Are we giving the American people the facts about our options under the United Nations? Are we giving the American people the facts about the Geneva Accord? Have we given them a rundown on what the facts are in regard to Southeast Asia?
And he was a man who I heard people say, I won't go listen to him because he might convince me. And they didn't want to be convinced. And he had that power of persuasion and exercised it very definitely on the floor of the Senate.
That is exactly the heritage that Wayne Morse leaves to us, a savior of the Constitution.
And he does sort of represent, in my mind, he has to represent constitutional government and in government and fearlessness, because he's that kind of a guy.
I see him down there in the Senate, you know, and I just sort of kind of get the feeling that he's going to get up and he's going to tell him.
It's time to check in with the Campbell Community Center to find out what's happening. Tai Chi classes are here on the 18th and the 20th at 9 o'clock. A benefits check to make sure you're getting all the benefits you deserve. And a smart driving class. We all need to brush up on our driving skills. The laws change. Also, there's going to be helpful hints to make driving a little easier. In addition, the Campbell Community Center is having its big talent show, Campbell's Got Talent. The auditions are the 19th at 11 in the morning and the 29th at 2. The actual show is on May 20th, 6 to 8 at the Campbell Community Center. And on the 18th of April at 2:30 in the afternoon, a volunteer will be there to help you plan your estate. And we have some day trips to tell you about. The Depot Bay Crab Feed on the 16th of April Everybody leaves at 8:30, and then there's the Glide Wildflower Show on the 23rd of April. Everybody leaves at 8 in the morning. For more information, just contact the Campbell Community Center. Also, while we're talking, we'd like to tell you if you want more information about all kinds of things going on in the Northwest, go to northwestboomerandseniornews.com for all of your senior and boomer news.
Did you know Jennifer Garner's moving on with her life, and Oprah has a new outfit? And I don't know who that is, but that's one ugly hairstyle.
Did you know Chip Kelly is now going to coach for the 49ers, and he's already got a bunch of ducks on the Eagles, and now he's got to try to get those over there so he can run a super fast offense, so they're awesome?
This magazine doesn't make me feel very positive.
Well, you got to try to be optimistic there, sir, so you live longer. Or not, hopefully. Look, I'm optimistic.
And we're here with Donna Peterson from New Horizons, and we're talking about something that I seriously need a little bit of help with some days, and we probably all do. It's optimism and how that really can help as we start becoming elders and sages and fellow travelers in our world. Thanks, Donna, for being here.
Well, thank you.
So what do we know about optimism?
Well, we know that optimism, 80% of the population, if you ask them, believe that they're optimists. However, it is not the case because for the one reason that you have to work at it every single day.
What do you mean work at it?
You have to think through, okay, today I'm getting up. There was a gentleman that started the positive psychology field by the name of Martin Seligman. And he found that you have to work at it every single day. Martin Seligman, for example, who was a positive individual, he found that he wanted to be more grateful, and so he would think every night when he went to bed what he was grateful for that day, 3 things. And he found that he slept better and that he was more optimistic as a whole. So you have to really work at the kinds of things. So there are some...
Excuse me, but is our tendency as we grow older too, is things start to hurt.
Right.
And so then it's like, well, here it goes.
Right.
You know, and that's the worst thing we can do.
Right. Well, there are certain things to help with that. First of all, you need these to have optimism. One of them is joy. There's 5 things that people really need in their lives in order to have true optimism. So you have to kind of think about, okay, how am I doing this? One's purpose, and how many people when you get older do you forget about what am I here for?
Right.
Joy, the self-esteem is another one. So you need to really think about the things that you are grateful for, how you find joy, and build your self-esteem up.
Because can we actually, do you think, we're getting a little heady here, just so you people know. But can you actually, I kind of wonder sometimes if we are a pessimist, if we can actually chase the good things out of our lives because we're not looking for them.
Exactly. We can. I mean, there's story after story. If you want to attract something negative, you will attract it. But if you want to move it away, you can move it away by being thoughtful about it and looking at things that are very positive.
So if people want more information about how to do this, how do they get a hold of, is there some place they can go?
Well, I teach classes on it, actually.
So how do they get a hold of you?
They can call me at New Horizons in Home Care and in the Eugene office, and I'll be more than happy to schedule a time to talk.
Okay. Well, don't get in on my counseling session because I just had mine. I feel like you just helped me through a moment of my life, and I'm like going, no, I like this. So Donna Peterson, New Horizons, she'll be back with more, but I have to go back to my session now, so we'll talk to you in a little bit. And we're here with Grant Gording of the Grant Hearing Center. And Grant and I go way back. We've known each other like, we're figuring out today, 25 years or something.
About that, yes.
Yeah, we worked out at the gym together, so I've known Grant for a long time, and your business has just taken off. People like what you do because you provide a service for them.
We do.
What do you love about this? Tell me what Grant's Hearing is all about.
Well, we started out in 1993, and we have gotten so many people in and tested their hearing and been able to give them better hearing. And that's what we get excited about doing.
Do you think that people don't understand how much of life they're missing when they get to our age? And I get to include us in this too. Our
Right.
age and older, we don't.
I think it happens all the time. Yeah, it's such a gradual thing when people lose their hearing that it just becomes a part of life. We don't understand that we're not hearing. People are repeating themselves, and pretty soon it becomes a head-to-head problem, and they finally come in and do something about it.
So am I the only one, or is, because I mean, I have to tell you, I'm a little apprehensive about having a hearing test because I kind of, there's a part of me that doesn't really want to know because I'm
Right.
56 and I don't want to know.
Uh-huh.
Is that pretty
It
common?
happens, yes, it is very common, yes.
And why should someone like myself go in and really do this?
Well, it's really important to get a baseline test, and then we can document your hearing chart, and then as time goes on, like every year, every 2 years, we can retest your hearing and then kind of gauge to see if it's stable or if you're losing a little bit more hearing.
And today, the hearing aids are so much different. We'll show people in a little bit that, but it's so different anymore.
It is. But back in the day, they were big and bulky hearing aids, and now we've got streamlined digital hearing aids that are very, very minute. They fit way down inside of the ear, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. They sound much better, and they're very small.
Young people, do you test children and young people? We have Emma's going to get a test, but younger people get their test.
Yes, younger people, it's very important for them to get a baseline test. And then we forward that to their physician so they can keep that on their file. And just very important for all ages to know how their hearing is. We document it, and then as time goes on, we can, again, be able to judge and see if there's any change.
So once someone has a hearing aid, they kind of sell themselves, don't they? I mean, what you were telling me when we were talking once that when they take them out, that people don't want to live without, we really don't want to live without our hearing.
That's right. And it becomes something that we expect to hear good after they start wearing the hearing devices. I relate it kind of as eyeglasses. We take our glasses off and everything is blurry, we put them back on, everything's clear. The hearing is the same way. We take the hearing aids out and everything's kind of mumbly, put the hearing devices back in, and we enjoy the clarity of people's speech.
Well, Grant, thanks for letting us in and being supportive of the show.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I think this is really interesting because you don't start thinking about this. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. I want to ask you this. What can people do? Because I know, like for me, this is probably my worst enemy. And I know that Grant, I should have known this, because Grant never wears earphones. He never had an iPod on at the gym, ever.
Right.
And I'd be going around. But what do you recommend to people about this?
Well, I think it's important to realize that long-term exposure to loud sounds can cause a hearing problem. And long-term may mean every day for an hour or two. So basically, we want to turn them down. Keep them down. If it's comfortable, take it down a notch or two and protect your hearing, because it's really important over the years.
Because probably 90% of us, I'd guess, probably turn these up a little bit louder because we want Led Zeppelin a little louder in our ears, don't we?
Yeah, exactly right.
So turn it down.
Turn it down a little bit, and it'll still sound good.
Or you're going to have to turn it up someday if you don't turn it down now, right?
Exactly right.
Grant, thanks a lot.
Okay,
and we'll
thank you very much for that.
Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah.
You know, I learned a lot tonight, but I still don't want to get a hearing aid. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's vanity. I don't know. But I don't want something sticking out of my head. I don't want something on my ears that makes me look ridiculous. I don't want to be that guy. I just don't want that kind of look.
Rick, this is all we're talking about.
That's a hearing aid.
That is a hearing aid.
Huh.